This is Colin O'Keefe here again for LXBN TV. It's been a big time for impactful Supreme Court rulings, and in that bunch, the justices ruled that the police cannot search the cell phone of a detained suspect without a warrant. Joining me now to share his thoughts on the ruling is attorney John Tomaszewski. He's with Seyfarth Shaw, an author on the firm's blog, The Global Privacy Watch. John, first off, can you walk us through this ruling a little bit? Can you explain what happened and what the justice's rationale was here?
Sure. So the ruling actually comes out of two consolidated cases, one where the police were going through all of the detail and all of the data on a particular arrestee's smartphone. And another one was where they were going through the call logs on a more traditional, well, I can't say traditional anymore because everybody has smartphones, but a lower tech flip phone, or what we call feature phones. And in both instances, the police had picked up these phones incident to an arrest. And historically, when you do an arrest, you're allowed to do a search because reasonable searches under the Fourth Amendment are allowed without a warrant. However, what ended up happening was, instead of just looking at the phone and going, okay, well, this is a phone and it's not a gun and it's not going to hurt me, they ended up keeping custody of the phone, going through the phone and discovering incriminating evidence on the phone, which was way beyond the incidences of the arrest. And the court basically looked at this and said, okay, let's realize that the original reason for the incident to arrest exception to the warrant requirement is either protection of the police officer or preservation of evidence. In both instances, if you actually have physical possession of the phone's not going to hurt you because it's data, it's not a gun. And the arrestee, because he doesn't have possession of the phone, the police officer does, isn't going to be able to erase anything. So to avoid untethering the exception from the rationale behind the rule, which was the cite that Justice Roberts made, they basically said, if you want to go through a phone, get a warrant.
I see, and that makes a lot of sense here in this instance. But second, what are your thoughts on the immediate impact of this ruling? It seems relatively clear-cut, but what's your reaction to how the justices ruled?
So I think one of the things that's really nice about this particular ruling is it recognizes portable computers as a very critical component of our life, and it's even more personal than your house. One of the comments that's made in the decision is, because of the aggregation of all of the data in one place on a cell phone, that phone is going to contain more sensitive information about your life in the aggregate than even your home. And as a consequence, there seems to be, at least in the dicta, a recognition and an elevation of the privacy rights of the individual. Practically, if you've been arrested and a police officer has your cell phone, it's going to be pretty easy for him to get a warrant to search your cell phone. The nice thing about that, though, is it does mean that the warrant has to have, in particularity, what they're looking for. So they're not going to be able to go through your entire cell phone and go, oh, well, we have arrested you for speeding, but we see, evidence of you providing alcohol to an underage drinker. There becomes a component of limitation, and that's the reason why the reasonableness component is so important. And it is also the recognition that it's not just information you can carry around in a briefcase, it's your whole life.
Definitely. The Supreme Court justices have caught quite a bit of flack lately with regards to their technological know-how, but this does seem to be one instance where they got it right when it comes to technology and the implications of privacy around it. Once again, that was attorney John Tomaszewski of Seyfarth Shaw. For more of his insight in the privacy realm, be sure to visit globalprivacywatch.com. Thanks for joining me today, John.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.